parent that's working 12, 13, 14 hours a day just to keep a roof over their head, that doesn't make them a bad parent if they can't dedicate as much time to homework, etc., studying. We're not as privileged as other races where we can have tutors, where the mom can be a single mom, sit at home, and all she can do is just work on homework with her children, etc. Because I know in my situation, I be having to reach out to my daughters, my twin daughters, which they 19, and my son, to help my 5-year-old with homework and stuff, because some days I'm working 12-hour days. I might get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and might not get home till 8 o'clock at night. And you mentally drained. You got to get the dinner ready. You got to get the bath ready. You got to get a snack. You got to get etc. ready. So it's not that easy to take on all that responsibility. And, I was surprised to hear that from a teacher, just to lash out at the parents that way, instead of communicating with their parent, instead of asking their parent, well, do you need any help? Do you need any resources or anything like that, to ask that parent what's going on. And I think that's what our people need to do. We need to come together and work together, because we know it takes a village to raise a child. And that's how they did in the olden days. If your mother or father was working 10, 12-hour shift, you was going to the neighbor house, you was going to the friend house, they helped you with homework, they fed you, they took care of you until your parent was able to get home. But in this day and age, we're too busy talking down on each other and, want to treat each other bad. And the system that they had put in place, if we're not careful, we're going to be right back in slavery all over again. It don't have to be the slavery and shackles and chains, but they're going to put us back in slavery where we just don't have any guidance and anything. These children are not learning nothing in the school system these days. That's why I wanted to bring it up. When they first brought up the No Child Left Behind Act, I was one of the parents that was impeccable about trying to stop that, because the No Child Left Behind Act is just simply a way for them to dumb down our children. Now in school, a 60 is passing. These children are going through the 12th grade, can't read, can't write, can't spell. And us as a community, we too busy being divided and want to point the finger and blame anyone, instead of doing, standing up and sticking together and going down to the school board and see exactly what they're doing to our children. They're constantly closing all of the schools, all of the rec centers. Just the other day, they said they're thinking about closing 3 more schools in Baltimore City. So with Baltimore being the biggest city in Maryland, how could we possibly afford to shut down as many schools as we're doing? Where are they putting these children? What they're doing now, they're adding 35, 40 children to one teacher in a classroom. There's no way that your child can get the proper learning off being in that type of setting. So what we need to do as a whole, as a people, we need to step up and stop fighting against one another. Stop trying to put the teacher down. Stop trying to put the parent down. And let's call town hall meetings. Let's get together and get the root to the bottom of the problem, because everyone is not a bad parent. That doesn't make you a bad parent because you can't dominate all your time to schoolwork and homework, because some parents are working 16-hour shifts, just to keep a roof over that child's head, just to keep clothes on that child's back. They're doing the best that they can. And, I just asked you, the teachers, I was going to invite a few teachers on, but I didn't want to get none of them in trouble, because I know they got to stick to a curriculum. And I know a lot of teachers that really their job is just hurtful to them, because they're not allowed to really teach our children what's need to be taught. They're given a curriculum, and when they go away from the curriculum, they could be fired, they could be doing etc. So what I did was I had people inviting me in as a guest. And when they invited me in as a guest, I talked about and taught the things that they couldn't do as a teacher. Because, it's sad that we keep hearing about them changing grades. They're changing grades from failing to passing. And what are we doing about it? We're not doing anything about it as a community. No other community would allow nothing like that to happen to their children. You got children that's in 11th grade that's reading on a 4th and 5th grade level. So my question to the school system and everyone else that's making all these rules and laws, how can a child that's reading on a 4th and 5th grade level make it through the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, etc., when he's not even functioning on that level. But because of all these things they're implementing, they're just dumbing down our children at an alarming rate. We so far behind as a race of people, and we seem to think that, that it's going to go away. We seem to think that it's a game. If y'all look at all the redevelopment that they're doing, look at all the stuff that they just built off of North Avenue in Charles for Micah, the School of Arts, man. They're building up so much stuff, and they're moving us out of these communities so they can move their people back in here, and we're just sitting still blindfolded, and before you know it, we'll be put right back into slavery. So, we need to step up as a people and do what we got to do. I'm trying to share this for y'all on Facebook because they got my live blocked. So I'm going to share his. They allow me to share, but they won't allow me to go live on mine. So I'm going to share Diamond K's, and it should be good to go. If I share this, it's not going to mute theirs, is it? No. Okay. So, yeah, we need to, as a people, man, we need to come together. And I'm going to take the first step in trying to call some town hall meetings. I want to get together with some educators. I want to get together with some teachers, etc., so we can get to the root of the problem. Because I'm telling y'all, man, they're trying to put us back in slavery, and we're acting like we're not paying attention, like we putting a wall over our eyes. And when I say back in slavery, I'm not talking about where they want to put shackles on us, around our ankles, around our necks. The slavery I'm talking about is where they're cutting us off as a nation of people and cutting us off from the learning system, because without knowledge, there's no power. So now they're cutting off our knowledge and just dumbing our children down, man. It's just so sad that there's so many children that just so far behind, and we need to figure out what we can do as a group of people. We need to take notes of all these other ethnicities that stick together. And I'm not putting down our race because I love our people. But if you look at the Asians, you look at the Jews, you look at everyone else, all of them come together with group economics, and they come together and they build their own. They have their own community. They have their own schools. The Jews don't spend no money outside of their own money. They buy with their own. They got their own schools. They got their own places. They got their own land. They have everything. I guarantee you that if we did a poll, or we was able to open up their records of their school, that they don't have no program called No Child Left Behind. I'm willing to bet that they don't have any school curriculum where 60 is passing. But see, the thing that they did, they got their own schools and they privatize it. And by them privatizing their own schools and doing those things, they don't have no government over top of them telling them about a curriculum that they could teach their children. And that's what we need to model after. Because at age 13, in the Jewish community, they're handing over businesses to their sons and stuff, because they're saying by 13, you should have enough knowledge and enough business savvy, and they're turning over businesses to their children. But what are we leaving our children? What is it that we're leaving our children? But the same stress, the same headaches that we went through. We go to school, we go to college, we create a big debt with a student loan. We're paying that debt for the rest of our lives. We get a $14, $15 an hour job. We barely making enough to put food on our table. We frustrated. They're making the man in the house non-existent. They're really making the man non-existent in the household, because the salaries are so low that it causes conflict into the household. We got to get to the root of what's going on. And the root of that is that we're struggling as a people financial. And that somewhere I read, they say a beggar nation cannot prosper. So long as we living in poverty and we living in poor, it's going to always be conflict in the household. Because you're going to have your wife, you're going to have your sister woman, your girlfriend, whoever it is that expects you to be the man of the house, to be the provider of the house. And all the time we can't be the provider of the house because the lowest rates that we're getting paid. I mean, y'all do the math. Someone that's making $15 an hour, they consider that they got a good job. And I'm a man that like to deal with math. So if you're making $15 an hour at eight hours a day, that's roughly $120 a day, 5 days a week. So you making $600 a week. So you feeling good about yourself. After Uncle Sam going to that 600 is down to about $440. After you add up all your gas and your lunch and everything to get back to work, you probably down to about $360. So between taxes, back and forth, travel, lunch, gas, etc. Off a $600 check, you down to $320. So it's 4 weeks in a month. So you got roughly around $1,300 that you bringing in a month. Your rent is $1,000. Your BG&E is about $300-400. You got the water bill. You got everything else. So you already going to your job every day of your life knowing that you don't have enough money to pay for your bills. So what that brings on a lot of stress. That brings on a lot of agitation. That brings on a lot of unrest at home because you're not happy. You know you going to a job every day where you punching the clock and everybody think, he's making $15 an hour. He should be in good shape. But how does it feel as a man when you know that you got to wake up every morning to go to work every day and you know what you're making ain't even enough to pay your bills? You got to pay some bills and you got to sacrifice some bills and you're doing whatever you have to do, and it's causing so much friction into our family and into all our peoples, all our Asiatics in our community. And we need to try to figure it out. We got to start back creating our own. We need our own schools. We need our own curriculum. And we need to take back what we used to do. Everyone that's doing all these things that's in a better place than we are, we taught all them everything. We was the leaders of civilizations. We built all the great halls of learning. I mean, do your research. We built all those things, the marble halls, everything. We built all of Spain. We taught them how to be civilized, and then they took everything we taught them, and they enslaved us and took it from us. So us as a people, man, we got to get back to who we used to be and who that we are. And who we are creators of our own conditions. We need to take back our own communities. Just like they building up all these places that they moving us out of, we need to go back in our neighborhoods and start building amongst each other. So we're going to take a quick 1 minute break. I want to go to my stuff. You got the theme song, the Heart to Heart song. I always got to give my man Reese 5150 his shots out every time I do this show, because that man made my song for this TV radio show within 1 day. It wasn't even 24 hours. So we're going to take a brief 30-second to a minute break because I want to introduce y'all to 5151 Reese. He the one that made my theme song for Heart to Heart TV radio show Unplugged. Y'all can also follow us right now on the Radio on Fire Facebook page, radioonfire.com. Y'all can call in right now. Anybody want to discuss this topic? Any teachers that's listening, any educators that want to comment on this, please feel free to do that. We're going to take a brief break, y'all. Heart to Heart TV and radio.
Yeah, you already know what time it is it? 5150, yeah. Heart to Heart TV, radio on Fire. Tune in. Yeah. Friday, 6 o'clock p.m. Hold up. Heart to Heart TV and radio. We be kicking new flavors to your stereo. Oh, kill 'em, this ain't Lil Terrio. Conversing around the table like a merry-go. Real talk, all facts only. No fakes, no frauds, no phonies. Nope. Every Friday at 6, you just gotta call in. Whole team ball hard, so we all gon' win. Hey, big dreams, great topics. Pull up or tune in and you can watch it now. Hit record when it's on. Grinding from the bottom till we hit the floor. Tell them network, better cut the check first. Each talk, baby, up like homie, let's work. 5150 really giving you the best work. Speaking from the heart when we talk like your chest hurts. Straight up.
Share it on your page. Let your friends know we going to 7, y'all. Y'all can call in. The call-in numbers on both our page. Let me turn this way. I got some comments and I don't like to leave somebody out. Doug Goldman, he said he think we've gotten comfortable blaming others, but while we're not owning our own mess. I would like you to comment and let me know exactly what do you mean by that. That we're blaming others and not owning our own mess, because I don't want to be confused about what you're saying. We got a caller. We taking a caller right now. Caller, how you doing? Who am I speaking to, caller? Caller, are you there? Are you there, caller?
Hey, bro. Hey, Mo.
It's Long Mo.
Slow Mo.
How you doing, man? Sheik Alice Prathiel, how you doing, good brother?
Man, all is well, bro. All is well, man. I'm just tuned in. I already know what the topic is, bro, but I'm definitely tuned in, you know?
Well, the topic tonight, big bro, is the state of our family, our community, and the relationship with teachers and the parents. The reason why this was the
Okay.
topic tonight because I was listening to the radio yesterday, and I heard a teacher going in real hard on the parents. And what I was trying to explain to the audience that we're not trying to take no blame off ourselves, but we got to get to the root of the problem because you have some single parents out here that have to work 2 shifts a day, 16 hours a day, and it ain't always easy to after you work 16 hours a day, you come home, you cook, you clean, to dedicate so much time to your child homework. Not saying that it's not important, but we all human, and it's not that easy after you work a 16-hour shift 5 and 6 days a week. So I was saying that we need to get together, the teachers, the parents, and get to the root and maybe put together a team, a tutoring team, somebody to help the children. Because, we came up when our parents had to work those doubles. We stayed with the neighbor, we stayed with the friend, we stayed with Big Mama, etc. But in this day and age, those days are not, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah, no question. That's what it is, bro.
Yeah, man. So, we appreciate you tuning in, man. Share it on your page. Let everybody know they can tune in. They can call
Yes,
in.
sir.
My man Doug, man, call in, man, and talk to me. Let me know exactly what you're talking about. I see you on here. Love the kids. All right, man. Peace, Sheik. Also, Baltimore. It's almost to the point, man, Diamond, where I don't even want to go on social media no more. Like, the killing that's going on in Baltimore City, it's like unheard of, and it's getting younger and younger and younger by the minute. And we know the creator that we believe in don't make no mistakes, but, the young brother from Morgan that was just senselessly murdered, walking down on a robbery. Like, brothers out here, I mean, there's nothing else better that you could have done at that moment, other than to take this young brother life. We got a caller. We're going to go to the caller real fast. Caller, you on the line. Who we speaking to right now?
Hey, this is Doug Goldman.
Hey, Doug, man, I appreciate you calling in, man. And
I appreciate you.
The reason why I wanted you to call in because I'm seeing you comment, but when the phone, whenever people comment, your comments move. And I didn't want to misrepresent what you were saying and what you was talking about. And I appreciate, everything you were saying. I just wanted you to have a time, to talk to the people and explain to them exactly what you mean. Because I know where you're going because of us as parents and as individuals, we want to shift the blame sometimes. So talk to the people and let them know exactly what you meant in your comments, brother.
My dude. First, let me say I appreciate you and you providing this opportunity to speak. I'm a 60s baby. I'm 53 years old, and I was always taught, regardless of where you are or who you're around, you need to carry yourself accordingly. My parents held me accountable for how I behaved, and I think we've gotten so used to trying to assimilate with everybody else in the United States, we got into that blame culture. We know what was done to us. You know that. We know how we maneuver through it. But what we stop doing is we stop holding ourselves accountable. There are things like little things like we point out white privilege. But we all know that. So how many times are we going to beat that thing down? Let's try to understand how they feel and why they feel privileged. Personally, if I'm 67% of the population, there's some privilege that come along with that. Because there's more finances that go into supporting the things that my culture likes. We look at white people destroying our history. We know they did that. It's a dead story. We know they did it. So where are we going to move from that? Let's look at the fact that most of my friends don't know who their great-grandparents are. Can't tell you 5 good stories about their great-grandparents. That ain't the white man destroying our history. That's us not telling our story. We're destroying our history now.
Let me chime in. Let me ask you a question, Doug, because I'm up for all suggestions, brother, and I really appreciate you coming in. So my question to you, are you in the Baltimore area? What area are you in, Doug?
Baltimore.
Okay. Now my suggestion, I need, trying to get some help, feedback from you. What I'm noticing is that they're doing a lot of redevelopment. And I was born, I used to live down the Lexington Terrace projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they first start talking about what they was doing, Doug, I didn't know that I was dead on. I didn't know that I was on to something because I was young. But I said they up to something. Why all of a sudden do they want to knock down every project that's in any vicinity near John Hopkins over East Baltimore? You notice they got rid of all of that. They got rid of the Lafayette projects, everything that was down there near the new hotels down on the other side of Pier 6.
Mm-hmm.
And they knocked down the Lexington Terrace side. So as time went on, my father, we used to talk about before he passed away, and I was like, Dad, they great do something with these neighborhoods. And they did. Mm-hmm. And, they moved our people out. They came in and told most of the families of our friends, well, we're going to move you to Harford County. We're going to move you to a better place. And I hate to say it, and all they did was turn Harford County into the same Lexington Terrace, Murphy Homes, Lafayette, etc. Because the same epidemic that was going on here when they moved everybody out there, it changed over. So I'm asking you, what's your suggestion? Like you said, let's forget about the past. We know what they done to us. And forget about what they done to us, what we're going to do as a people to help get us out of it. So I'm just wondering, how can we get our foot into any of this redevelopment that they doing? Because it seems like they Xing us out. Because a good friend of mine that passed away named John, was my partner at Club Indigo. And he owned about 10 stores around near North and Charles Street. So he passed away when he was doing some federal time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I went up there yesterday. They shut every store down. They knocked down New York Chicken, put a theater there. They shut down all the Jamaican stores. And now if you go up there near that, around the corner for that Micah College, it's 4 theaters in that neighborhood. So someone that comes up in your era, when in your era we was owning things and we was in the community, what do you suggest as a group of people that we need to do to be able to, get our footprint in some of that stuff and some of this redevelopment instead of them just always leaving us out in the cold to be the consumer that got to spend the money with them? You have any suggestions?
I sure do, and I'm glad you asked that, because what we don't look at is the fact that it's all about money. This thing ain't about people. It's about money. Every 10, 15 years, they migrate people in and out of the city. If you remember years ago, downtown used to flourish. Used to have movie theaters and all kinds of stuff downtown.
I got a mini Whitman sneaking down to that movie theater, the old Hippodrome.
Hey, we used to have, the Apollo over there on Caroline or Harford Road.
Right.
So here's the thing. When the money was flourishing out in the counties, they moved the poor people into the city.
Right.
So in order to get the people to move out of the city, they shut down the movie theaters and put them out to the county. The people follow where they can shop.
Okay.
So it's not just a phenomenon that's happening right now. As a people, we've gotten so used to blaming somebody else for our condition that we stop taking charge of our own lives. By this, I mean we love when millionaires want to throw money and recreation centers into our community. You don't need somebody to throw millions into your community. What we need is somebody to give a couple $1,000s to somebody to teach us how to go to an auction and secure that house next door to us that's on auction, that dilapidated house. Okay. Then we need somebody to teach us how to secure a rehab loan. See, when people start owning their neighborhoods, then you don't have the murders and the drug dealers on the corner. I ain't saying you ain't going to hustle from the house. I'm saying it ain't going to be out there on the corner.
Right.
And when the next block over sees how the block previous to them grows, they want to know, well, how can we do that? See, we'd rather sit back and blame the Asians for buying up the stores on the corner when those corners were barren for the longest time. We didn't want it.
Yeah.
We could have gotten the loans. If we couldn't have gotten the loans, because it's a whole lot of ways to get $50,000. You ain't got to just borrow $50,000. If you got $10,000 from 5 people, you got $50,000.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you double that and get 5,000 from 20 people, so on and so on and so on. But we don't think like that.
So let me ask
They're
you.
doing this. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are you into the group economics, like joining up? Because see, the problem that I'm having, because everything you talk about, I've done it. I buy little properties in the most ran down neighborhoods where they tell me it's not worth nothing because I just know they didn't want to get it. They want to build it up themselves. So, I bought a property on Monroe Street. This probably was my 3rd or 4th house I ever done. So I bought one on Monroe Street about maybe 3 months ago. So the value of the house as is was about $15,000. Rehab, it would have been worth about $70,000. So no hard money lenders would lend me money because they said, well, it's a low poverty area. We don't want to take the chance of, taking a loss, and if you don't pay it back. And that's what I was trying to tell my brothers and sisters, because right now I'm going to sit on it and I'm going to put my own money in it. And my very first house up Park Heights, I used every dollar of my own money for it because of the same reason. And I'm in agreement with you. The thing that I think the problem with our brothers and sisters is a lack of trust. Everybody think when it comes to money that you can't trust nobody. Everybody's scared to sit down at the table with somebody and break bread. And I was always raised that, if everyone around you is eating and you're teaching, like you said, don't just give somebody something, teach them how to get some money. And, I wasn't always living a good life. And when I was living the old life, before I was able to change and know the way I was living wasn't right, I still live by that code, Douglas. Everyone around me, I shared the wealth, I taught them, and, it's carried over to the person that I am today and the businessman that I am today because if I had brothers like you surrounded with me and you got brothers like me and you was the fall, and that's what you need that brother for. You build that brother up because if you fall, you got somebody that you built up from scratch.
And that's how you build your empire. When you have your empire working with you, if you lose your wealth, you got other people to catch you. Now, like you, I'm not a business-minded person, but I handle my business. Okay. I bought a few houses and put my family members in it. I have mortgages. They're paying off the mortgage. I don't see the benefit now. See, there's a guy named Sharif Smalls, and I went to one of his seminars, and he spoke on the mentalities. A poor man's mentality is living day to day.
Okay.
A middle-class mentality, you live paycheck to paycheck. But a rich person's mentality, you live generation to generation. Now, you can have a poor man's income, but a rich man's mentality.
Okay.
So you get your insurances. You do things like they got a thing called Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin just maybe like 5 years ago, that thing was like $50 for a Bitcoin. That thing is like $15,000 for a Bitcoin now.
Well, you should slap me upside my head, Doug, because somebody asked me to invest in Bitcoin years and years ago. Right now, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. Maybe it would
be millionaire, man. 10 times over.
Yep. So let me ask you
when it came to me years ago, like you, it was over my head. I didn't understand it.
Right. So
it took a white guy last year to say, "I'm gonna give you $5 worth of a Bitcoin," and we're just gonna see what's gonna happen with it. I forgot all about it. That $5 grew in a year. That $5 grew into $40, $45. So on the face of it, somebody would say, "Well, dang, man, $45, that ain't nothing." Yeah, it's like 8 times the value of the original investment. So if I had put $1,000 into it, then I would have $9,000 in Bitcoin.
Absolutely. So let me ask you a question, Doug, with the topic we have, and maybe you can help some of the listeners. We got a big epidemic in Baltimore of single parents. And I don't know whether you was listening when the show started. The reason why I had this topic today, I was out working in one of my trucks, and I heard a teacher really bash a parent. And the parent that she bashed, I actually know the parent. I'm not going to put the teacher name out or the person. And what the teacher had to say was, If we put your child out or we suspend your child, you quick to come up to school to want to fuss and fight and want to know what's going on. But if I send a note home and tell you to explain multiplication to your child, it takes you, a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I get you to comment, my problem with it was, of course, in your era, when you was growing up, you had people to help out your mom, if the mom had to work long hours. In this day and age, we don't have that. And the sister that she was putting down is an excellent mother. I'm talking about Doug. She worked 16 hours a day. She get up, get that child ready for school. She might leave at 7 in the morning, and she might not get home until 9 o'clock at night. Put a meal on the table. So my question is, what can we do as a community to help these type of situations? Because we're human. I mean, after you work 16 hours and then you put 2 hours in the home cooking and put them in the tub, I mean, you're a human being. It's only 24 hours a day. How much energy can you have to sit still with your child and talk about homework? What can we do to get back to those old ways where the neighbor, remember the neighbor would help you with your homework, pick you up from school, the friend.
Well, here's the thing, bro. The first thing, accountability. See, women fought for the right for nobody else to be able to tell them what to do with their bodies. So if you chose to have that baby, then it's your job to take care of it. I don't care. Your environment or the people around you should not dictate who or what you are. It is your responsibility. It's good to get help because we all need help. We're all human, like you say. However, my household is my responsibility. My wife works also. She makes as much money as I make, more sometimes.
That's how it is.
My household is my responsibility. I don't care what nobody else in the house do. I can't quit my gigs.
Okay.
My parents live in one of my houses. Their house is big enough. The house they live in is bigger than mine. I got other family members living in my houses. My family is my responsibility. Now, when you take that mentality, then working at 16 hours a day and then have to come home and teach your kids to be accountable for their mess, you don't get a pass. When my kids were growing up, you don't get a pass. If I get a call from the teacher saying that you cussed them out or you were disrespectful, that's your behind.
Right.
I don't play that. You don't get a pass to be disrespectful. First of all, it's dangerous. We're only knowing that people have ADHD now and bipolar, so many people are bipolar, and so many adults have all of these problems. But when I was growing up, you didn't know what kind of crazy was on somebody.
Right.
And you think you're going to be a kid back-mouthing some crazy dude on the street? See, I want my child to come home. Stop listening to your friends. Stop listening to the friends that say the revolution is here and we got to get out there on the front line. See, they say that because they want you and your kid to get out there and die for a cause while they stay home safe with their kids. I need my children to come home. We need to be independent, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And wealthy doesn't mean you have a lot of money. Wealthy means that you are loved and you are functioning.
Well, that's
accountability. That's what we need.
That's a sad state, though, Doug, ain't it? When you some parents gotta leave out every day not knowing whether their child won't make it home, like you said.
Absolutely. But it don't get fixed if we don't hold ourselves accountable. You don't need the police to come into your neighborhood and police your neighborhood. Black people, we're strong. We're strong when it comes to the words. But see, we don't sit down and put pen to paper. Because if you get enough complaints on that police officer that's acting crazy, you can get him out of that neighborhood. We won't do that.
Yeah,
we don't hold ourselves accountable for 300 and something murders. That's more than a murder a day. 300. Getting close to a murder a day.
Oh, it's already past a murder a day.
Okay.
Almost.
But see, we jump, shout, and boogie when a police officer kills somebody, and we kill people by the hundreds. Come on. We allow somebody to say, make a campaign of stop snitching. Snitching is when you and I commit a crime together. Snitch is when you and I commit a crime together, and then I tell on you. That's snitching. Or you telling me that's snitching. Snitching ain't when you're a good neighbor and you see Mrs. Johnson get robbed, and you tell the police who did it so they can catch that dead person. I'm about to go off. So you catch that person, and he don't rob no other old person in the neighborhood. That's not snitching. That's being a good citizen. That's being a good person.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because as we talking, I'm thinking about, prior stuff, and you brung up that stop snitching. And that whole thing made me think about a good friend of mine named Tall Val's, Big Ryan. He's one of the stars that was in there, and he's doing a lot of federal time. And I felt so bad for him because during this jail stint that he's doing right now, both of his sons was murdered. You know, and
Right.
you know, both his sons was murdered in the streets, and you know, I just felt for him. You know, I could never imagine what he's going through. You know, being in the federal institution, and you this big mogul in Baltimore. Everybody know you from the creator of the Stop Snitching DVD and movie. And then the thing about it was that when his sons was murdered, no one act like they knew nothing. No one seen nothing. And you know, I always wondered, you know, like what was his thoughts, you know, what was his mindset, because it's so sad that, you know, you live by a certain code, and then when your children, you know, go out a certain way, you know, it's only right that you feel a certain kind of way. So, you know, like you said, we got to take accountability. We got to do better as a people. I mean, this platform right here, Doug, is open always for you. You know, we wasn't on for 2 weeks because of the snow, but man, I'm always open for suggesting. I'm open for great conversation, because none of us have all the answers, but what we do have, all of us got a little piece to the answer, and if we all come together with our piece, then we can put that whole puzzle together. But you know, everybody wants to be the big I am instead of working together, man. So
absolutely, and we look and we see what other communities do, and we don't learn from it. We look and see how the gay and lesbian community get laws changed, but we don't learn from it. We need to be watching their model. We see how women get laws changed.
You hit that.
We don't learn from it.
You hit that on the nose, because not only did they get laws changed, you get fired and dismissed from your jobs if you say the wrong thing. They allow you to say the word nigga and bitch and all that on the radio. But if you call somebody gay or say the wrong thing, you can lose your job. So boy, you hit that right on the money. How they did more than change laws. They changed the way that you can even operate on your own show in these days.
Right. And they're cutting the balls off of a man. See, it used to be, and this is just recently, it used to be a time recently where people crack jokes on a dude for being thirsty. If you know a guy who ain't thirsty, tell him to kill himself. Because as a man, ain't nobody giving you nothing.
Right.
Everything you get, you got to earn it, learn it, or take it. I came, I saw, I conquered. It's about some men going out, starting a war to take whatever it is they want, whatever they have to. That's how men function. A man ain't sitting back, a man shouldn't sit back and wait for a woman to come to him. You see that woman you like, you respectfully go over there. You got to put your feet to that pavement, walk over there to that woman, and make some stuff happen. But if you get with this thirsty mentality, they done made you passive. They got you wearing woman's clothes. They got you being passive now. You're afraid to speak up. You're a man. What you scared of? Put your chest out. Say what you got to say, even if you're wrong. Say what you got to say. You know, and it's just a culture that we are accepting. And you know, we all got black and white issues. But if we were Asian, then we would see a whole bunch of Asian issues also.
Yeah, every race have issues. It's just
absolutely
ours is more put on the front scene and put on the broader, because the Europeans kill each other too. But they just don't put that in the face of the news like they put it to the face of our people.
Mm-hmm. So, and greater numbers. By statistics, if you believe the statistics, blacks are 12% of the population, whereas whites are 67% of the population. So anything that's happening is going to happen more by them because there's just more of them.
Absolutely.
If you in your house, there's 5 people in your house. Everybody want to watch a different television show. You take a vote. Whoever has the greater people that want to watch Martin as opposed to watching 60 Minutes is what show you want to watch. That determines what show you want to watch. So when you got stars saying, well, the money isn't there to support black movies, Well, white people pay for what they're interested in.
Right.
Hip-hop ain't big because of black people. Hip-hop big because there's a lot of white people that's crossing over liking hip-hop music.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They buy more of the albums than our people. It's not even close.
Right, but we can't even learn that. Why? Because we're too busy blaming somebody instead of looking at the numbers. 67% of anything. That's more than half the population of the United States. The rest of the people in the United States shared by blacks, Asians, Hispanics. You see what I'm saying? They're entitled, I don't think, not because they're white, because there's more of them. Men have an entitled mentality. If you're a man in this world, you're entitled. And you expect some things to happen just because you're a man. When you walk into a room, you don't expect to have to cower to anybody. You're a man.
Right.
Women are entitled in the United States. If you don't believe me, have a child by one. And she don't like you. You see what I'm saying? We all enjoy some form of entitlement. It's not a competition. It's not about who has more and who has less. All I'm saying is recognize what's in front of you. Because you can't even fight your enemy unless you know your enemy, whoever that enemy might be. But if you make yourself ignorant to what's right there in front of you, you're always going to be on the downside looking up.
Right.
You got to understand what it feels like to be a man and then to have somebody say to you, well, we're going to cut your balls off. You got to wear a dress. You can't have an opinion anymore. You can't say, good gracious. I ain't saying go out there and put your hands on a woman, but you got to be able to go up to her and say, hey, babe, how you doing?
In this
without feeling like you're going to be
calling that sexual assault these days.
What? You're going to get on me because I said, babe? You don't hear nothing else I say. Hey, babe, how you doing? You don't even have to look at the fact that I'm older and from my time that was acceptable. I'm just not with the modern stuff.
Right.
We don't teach each other that acceptance of each other. We teach each other acceptance of the BS. And me and my wife been together for 18, going on 19 years. I met her on the internet.
Wow.
But by the time we got together, I knew who I was. I knew my levels of bullshit and sacrifice. If you don't know who you are, you can't possibly pick a good mate.
Right.
You got to know your levels. We need to stop listening to other people and start thinking. Communication ain't the key to a successful relationship. Because when you lie, you communicate. That ain't going to get you nowhere positive.
Right.
The key to a successful relationship is the removal of ego and pride.
Remove that ego. But
if you get that out the relationship, go ahead.
We gotta wind down, man. We coming to a close, but
I'm sorry, bro. I ain't mean to take up all your time.
No problem, man. That's what we want. That's why it's heart to heart, man. This show is not for me. It's for people like yourself, man, to have something good to say. It's each and every Friday at 6 o'clock, man. You know how to tune in now. You have the number, and we'll get together. And then one day I have bring you on into the show, man. Have you come in here live, man, and we chop it up.
Absolutely, I'm with it, bro. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you calling in, man. We appreciate everyone that's viewing in, man. We're gonna end it with that Radio on Fire Radio, man. Thank you, Doug, man, and people, man, take heed to what everyone is saying, man. Each one teach one. We all put a small piece of that pie together, and we can put this puzzle together. It's Radio on Fire TV and Radio Unplugged, y'all.
Yeah. You already know what time it is it? 5150. Yeah. Heart to Heart. TV Radio on Fire. Tune in. Yeah. Friday, 6 o'clock p.m. Hold up. Heart to Heart TV and Radio.